Last time, on Sailing Kittiwake, we enjoyed a pleasant first sail of the season and explored the cute island of Kulatra. In this episode, we have a beautiful sail up a wild river and suffer a string of bad luck. We should have known better than to sail on Friday the 13th.
We're up just before the sun. It's the 6th of April and we're going to head from Faro up to the Rio Guadiana today. There's a few tidal bits that we need to get right. Leaving here is obviously the first one, and high tide is at 7, so hopefully we'll be underway in a bit and get there for dead high tide. And then we want to get to the entrance of the Guadiana with the tide rising, so it will sort of carry us up there a bit. And the winds are going to be probably very light, so we might be motoring for a bit, but there's some horrible winds forecast and a lot of rain, and we don't really want to be here because it's a bit isolated all the way out here in the anchorage. So we're going to set off today and head up to the Guadiana. Looks like we got our tide calculations right, because the whole fishing fleet is coming out now.
You ain't helping me at all. The memories they all twist and turn.
That looks a little bit too small. Better shake it off.
So we're going around all these sort of fish farms and things. You can see them on the chart plotter. Elena's still feeling a bit ropey and a bit tired, so she's inside having a nap.
In the back of the schoolyard, where we used to play hide and seek.
Whee! Looks like we got some wind.
Oh my God. And there was no need to speak. Always in the dark.
We're about an hour from the entrance to the Guadiana. We motored quite a way because the winds were so light, but now the wind's picked up a bit and we've got the Genoa out, which is nice for a bit of a break from the engine noise, as we're probably going to have to motor up the Guadiana as well. But I'm looking forward to getting there. We just had some lunch, and yeah, it's been a really nice day so far.
So while we've got the sails up, we're going to put some petrol in our tank, which only takes 12 litres at one time.
Looks like we made it to the entrance of Ayamonte just on time.
You give no hope.
As we entered the Guadiana, we were officially on the border between Spain and Portugal. For this reason, we hoisted both the Spanish and Portuguese courtesy flags.
You walk wide, always on the go, always aiming higher. Well, I'm way too slow. I wait for the easy, I wait for the calm. I'm trying to hold on.
With the sail up, it looked as if we were going to bang onto it.
Without any mercy, without reason or rhyme. I don't know what took you all this time.
about an hour from Al Kutim, and we've been doing about 6 to 7 knots all the way up here. We've been using the engine and the sails and motor sailed as well, a bit of a mix because depending on where the hills are there's wind and then there's not any wind or very weak, but it's been really great so far.
It's going way too fast. They say you love me, but I know that God only knows. Oh, I need someone to guide me.
It's been great seeing Elena get so much more confident at handling the boat this year.
Without any mercy, without reason or rhyme. I don't know.
There's new red and green markers on the Guadiana, which apparently went in last winter, and they're great because it makes it easy to go up, and they seem to catch loads of the bamboo as well. So we've just dropped the hook in the Guadiana. We are just south of Al Kutim. It started raining in the last sort of 10-15 minutes and we got a bit soaked. So we have cups of tea and soup, and we've got the oil lamp on to heat up.
I'm up at 5 and I just couldn't sleep, but it's really worth it. It's really beautiful out here, check it out.
I wait for the easy, I wait for the calm. I'm trying to hold on, but it's knocking me down and it's keeping me up all night. Without any mercy,
It's so cold.
reason or rhyme. I don't know what took you all this time. What you gonna do with your love? And I thought that forever could never fall apart.
It rained in Marika, so Ryan is bailing her before we go and check out the towns.
I keep breaking my own heart. I keep breaking my own heart. I keep breaking my own heart.
See you later, Kittiwake! We're trying to sneak up on this little turn.
Today we've come to San Lucar on the eastern side of the Guadiana to have a look about. We're just going to have a look around here and then head over to the western side and try and forage some more oranges.
While the town of San Lucar on the eastern side was beautiful, we preferred the wilder western side of the river. Oh, the almonds are too early. They're not ripe.
The memories
Smell amazing.
twist and turn. I bang my head against the wall.
Looks like we got the tide wrong. This is the worst hail and rain we've had on Kittiwake so far. Whoa! I just wanted to kind of open up and just sort of let you know what's it like sometimes cruising while making a living. We were really lucky last year. We had a few struggles, but it seemed like luck was always on our side. But this year it seems like it's just constant ups and downs, and when you're sailing, as you've probably heard, the highs are really high and the lows are very low, and it couldn't be any more true. About a week ago we started the season. We left Portimao on a high. We're just really happy, making progress, sailing along, just confident and happy, and our YouTube channel was doing really well. And then suddenly this week we're up here on the Guadiana. the weather windows are disappearing. We feel kind of stuck up here and it's really cold and we don't have a heater, and 2 of my freelance gigs kind of dropped and the channel has flopped a little bit. Our latest videos aren't doing very well. I'm sure that it will be fine soon, but at the moment we're just feeling really down.
A few days later, we were ready to plan our next move on from the Guadiana. It's a little bit tricky to time it because obviously we've got we're about 3 or 4 hours from the actual entrance at Ayamonte, so we need to go down the river to the entrance probably tomorrow afternoon after all this stormy weather has passed, and then hopefully make use of the winds on Saturday to have a really long day, probably leaving in the dark to sail to Cadiz, hopefully Rota, the anchorage, spelled R-O-T-A, and we'll probably arrive there hopefully around sunset or maybe just a little bit after, but it looks like a really nice easy anchorage to get into. And so the winds on Saturday, they should be sort of light, that's 13 knots blowing us in the right direction, and then that should last hopefully all day, and then we'll get in late afternoon.
Really hard?
Yeah.
It's really stuck in the mud, I guess. Come on, come up. We are having some problems with the anchor chain today. Oh fuck! That's what it is.
Yeah.
Remember when we said that the highs are really high and the lows are really low? Well, the lows just got lower. Yeah, look. Blah. I think I can see it. Ugh.
The memories, they all twist and turn. I bang my head against the wall.
So we kind of hoisted the tree up to the side of the boat and we could get to the bit that was looped around, grabbed that with the boat hook, pulled that up and basically unlooped it over the top of these things, these big branches. And now all we've got is all our chain back on board, but it's all kind of wrapped around all of our ropes. I unpurposely used all of the old shitty ropes that the previous owner left, so I'm just going to cut them and hopefully this log can go to log heaven.
Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, we were pulling up the anchor and sailing off the anchor. But I was at the helm, came back to the helm, and a stupid wasp just bit me on the little toe.
Nostalgia is my second nature. My least favorite state of mind, but I go there all the time, all the time.
I'm sulking a little bit less about my sting. We're having a pleasant sail, really light wind with the Genoa out. Going at about 2.5 knots against the tide. But we just didn't want to be where that tree was on the anchor anymore. So even though we missed the tide change, we're just gonna float down the river until the right tide comes and we can do 6 or 7 knots again.
Always in the
quiet. All I can hear is like the bird songs around us. There's absolutely no other sound. The river is really, really flat. There's no cars. We're only using the genoa. It's great. It's almost 6 p.m. and we are reaching our destination for the night. It's a free pontoon near Ayamonte. So Ryan is putting out the fenders and I'm just motoring down the last bend of the river. Okay, still doing 1 knot.
I'll let her slow down gradually.
Get the camera off. That was easy.
It went alright, didn't it?
Yeah. First docking of the year. Look, I made our crappy old ropes look really nice. How well deserved is that?
Pretty well deserved. I think we did pretty well to save our anchor chain today. I really thought at one point we were going to have to cut it in half, and then we just end up with like 20 metres of chain instead of 35.
Me too.
But it wouldn't be like a massive problem. I think 20-25 metres probably be alright, but I've heard in the med that you need more anyway, so I'm glad we saved it.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to help us keep these videos coming, you can donate from as little as $2 per month through Patreon, or you can share this video with your friends. Join us next time as we sail to Spain and seek shelter from over 50 knots of wind.